Hey horror fans, and welcome to another horror topic. Today we're going to discuss a horror remake that was unfortunately wronged by the critics, but loved by horror fans. When a Stranger Calls, the remake released in 2006. Despite other horror remakes being considered either letdowns or inferior creations, When a Stranger Calls 2006 was an amazing creation that is arguably better than the original. When a Stranger Calls 1979 has one of the infamous scariest first 15 minutes of a film, and have an equally scary climax, but unfortunately a very bad middle of the film. Director Simon West set out along with screenwriter Jack Wadewall to create a scary, more suspenseful thriller and rival the original in its creativity, storyline, and quality, and they succeeded. The film starts off with a babysitter getting phone calls and is attacked and killed along with the kids, off screen. The next day the police examine the scene and a veteran detective is horrified by what he sees off screen, and we see several body bags being taken out 125 miles away. We see Jill Johnson, played by Camilla Bell, at school with friends and having an argument with her boyfriend. She has to babysit to pay off an expensive cell phone bill, and her father drives her out in the middle of nowhere to a secluded, modern, very creepy, dark house. After meeting the parents and they leave, she relaxes and snoops around, then hears something, and sees the housekeeper in the greenhouse, and goes back and gets a scare from the cat, which set off the house's motion automatic lights. She hears an alarm, deactivates the alarm system and checks on the housekeeper, and she's gone. She gets a few prank calls, including one from a drunken friend. Her friend Tiffany sneaks in and scares her, and they talk and she leaves, but outside, Tiffany hears someone walking, and as she tries to get away, a tree branch blocks her way, and as she tries to remove it and is attacked from behind. Jill hears banging at the door, and it is debated this is either the stranger or Tiffany, and Jill opens the door and nobody's there. Jill locks up and sets the alarm and gets harassed by the car, so Jill calls the police and they reassure her it's nothing. She looks for the housekeeper but can't find her and gets a few scares. The stranger calls and says the infamous line, "Have you checked the children?" And Jill checks on them and they're safe. The stranger calls and asks, "How were the children?" And Jill drops the phone, panics, and closes curtains and calls the cops, and they will try and trace the call, but they also tell her if cops are set to check on her, it will take at least 20 minutes to get there. Jill tries to trap the stranger but fails, and she sees someone in the guest house and goes and checks and no one's there. And she gets another call and he stays on the line 60 seconds but called the wrong phone line. Jill runs back to the house, seeing a light, thinking it's the housekeeper. After arriving, gets another call, and this time she keeps him on the line long enough, and his last words are, "Your blood all over me." Jill gets a call from the police saying the calls are coming from inside the house. And after Jill drops the phone, the power goes out, and behind her a cell phone rings. She sees her friend Tiffany dead and screams. As she heads for the stairs to the main floor, decides to save the children and finds them not in their beds, but in a side room in a bin hiding. The lights come back, and she goes into the room and sees a dresser blocking the door and sees no one. And looks up and the stranger's in the ceiling beams. She slams the door and ties wire around it, and her and the kids go out a window into the greenhouse, and after a game of cat and mouse and several shocks, smoking the tables turn, Jill locks the stranger in but can't find the kids, and just before she finds them, she realizes the stranger got out of the greenhouse. Jill and the kids run toward the main door, and Jill gets the kids out, but the stranger grabs her and throws her back. After a violent struggle, she manages to burn him and stab him in the hand with a poker. Jill escapes and the police get the stranger. Cops throw him in a squad car in handcuffs and ankle cuffs and massive sedatives. And as the car drives away, we see her horrified face. and we will never forget it, along with Jill. Jill has a nightmare and wakes up screaming, and the film ends, and clearly that girl will need a lot of therapy. The critics were universally bad towards this film and gave no real reason why. Their only excuse was they showed too much in the trailers, but first of all, no they didn't. Here's a shot-for-shot of Jill in the film and the trailer, and you still see more of a reaction in the film. The trailer was exactly what it needed to be, and it got the job done. The film has massive quality, from an excellent main character to a creepy but excellently designed house, along with creepy music and a plot that kept you satisfied until the climax. The film is the true definition of quality, and it deserves a far better rating in my book over the rating it got. The critics were faced with a dilemma. They could either give the film the glorious reviews it deserved, or protect the original's integrity and trash the remakes, and well, you know which choice they made. Yes, the killer's voice maybe could have used some work, but even so, it still got the job done. Despite the negative reviews, When a Stranger Calls made over $66 million, and I did check. If you take the original's earnings and add inflation to 2012, it made $66,665,300.14. If you take When a Stranger Calls 2006's earnings and add inflation to 2012, it made $75,970,571.04. After you subtract both amounts, When a Stranger Calls 2006 made $9,305,270.90 more than the original earned. Despite it being a financial success, and horror fans loving it, because of the bad reviews, Screen Gems canceled their plans for a sequel, which I think sucks, because I would have loved to see Camilla Belle have another showdown with the Stranger. In closing, I ask the critics who wronged this masterpiece to admit what they've done and re-review this film and give it the excellent rating it truly deserves. Please tune in tomorrow as I discuss another horror-related topic. This is the Entertainment Wizard, signing off.